Okay.
And I will officially welcome you all to our third live with Tammy and Eric. We started this in October. You know, it's a challenge this year. We love to go into your countries to visit you face to face, and with international travel being challenging right now, we thought a monthly Zoom presentation would be a great way to make use of the technology we have to keep you updated. And I don't know, Tammy, what you think, but I think maybe we'll keep this going next year even after coronavirus is past us. I think it's a great way for us to be able to share info about our program.
I think so too. It's really wonderful to be able to have these video meetings with people, even though we can't be there. We can still see faces and show friendship, and I think it's really great we can still do this. Maybe we'll keep it up. Maybe one of the good things of this pandemic is we've learned new ways to do things.
Definitely. And I think many of you are familiar with Zoom and how it works. I think there are a few people who have commented to me in the chat box, this is your first time to Zoom, so welcome to Zoom. One thing that I suggest is when you're not speaking, there's a little place to mute yourself that helps eliminate some of the background noise. Of course, we're gonna have time for some questions and answers at the end. And there's also a chat feature. At any time you can click into the chat box, you can text the group, or you can text one of us privately to ask a question, and we'll be able to answer your question at the end of the presentation as well. So like I said, this is something that we're doing every month now, and every month has a different topic. The first month we gave an overview of our programs. Tammy, what was our topic last month?
Last month we did residential life. Our program here at Wisconsin Lutheran High School, we have a really wonderful dormitory, and not so much just a building, although that's beautiful because it's new, but also the care for the students inside of that dormitory and how our staff meets all their needs, not just physical, emotional, social. And so we did a special topic last month on residential life at Wisconsin Lutheran High School.
Right, yeah, thank you for reminding us on that. And one of the nice things that we do is every month we'll bring in an expert speaker as well. Last month we had Miss Angela Hornaber, our residential life advisor, who could talk specifically about the programs they do to support students. And we record these every month, so if you miss a month, if you want to know what happened last month, just ask and we can give you the playlist of all of the previous episodes as well. So we're really thankful that we have this opportunity, and already a preview for next month, we will have a focus on how students, international students, can make good American friendships while they're here. We specialize in a lot of great programs for that, and we're gonna, so that one will be really great for any prospective students to join, as well as all of our partners, parents, to know how we help our international students to get adjusted. So that's something to look forward to next month. But let's just introduce ourselves first. Some of you haven't met us before, so we'd like to introduce ourselves. First, I'll introduce myself. I'm Eric Dewey. I'm the director of the international program here at Wisconsin Lutheran High School. I was born here in Wisconsin. I've lived most of my life in Wisconsin and love it here, though I have spent some time living abroad too, in both Costa Rica and Thailand. So, and Tammy, would you introduce yourself too?
And I am Tammy Lyrer. I have been here at Wisconsin Lutheran High School for about 3 years. Previously, I was doing an international program recruitment and teaching Chinese, because I speak Chinese, at a different school. I lived overseas for 10 years in Taipei, Taiwan with my family. And so my children grew up overseas. When I came back here to America, I used my passion for culture and for helping people to start helping families overseas that want their children to have the United States high school experience.
Great, thank you. And Tammy, would you just kind of give an overview of what we're going to be talking about today before we introduce our special speaker? We're not special, but Allie will be the special speaker of the day.
Sure. We will be discussing today our English Excellence Summer Camp. This camp began in 2019. That was our first summer. We had a wonderful first year experience, and students were very happy, and so were their parents. And I think we've put a lot of effort into making this a well-rounded camp, partially English language, partially making friends cross-culturally, partially learning about American life and culture too. So we're going to, we've invited our excellent summer camp director, Miss Allison O'Donnell, to come and speak to you today about all the great things about our camp. We will have the camp it will start on July 16 and go to August 7. And I'm sure you're wondering, well, what will you do if there's no travel at that time, etc. And we will talk about that a little bit later. But for now, we're going to go ahead. We have hope that things will be better by summertime, maybe even by springtime. So I will go ahead and say a few things here about Miss Allison O'Donnell and Mrs. Allison O'Donnell. Allison has a Master of Science in Education. She is also TESOL certified. She has been a teacher in United States elementary schools. She has taught ESL, TOEFL, IELTS classes abroad in Scotland and done summer youth programs. She's also currently teaching students all over the world on virtual English classes. I think once you meet her this morning, you'll see why we are so thankful to have her as the director of our program. So, Allison, good morning, and I will hand it over to you to introduce the summer camp.
Sure. Thanks, Eric and Tammy. And hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us all today. So I think we'll just go ahead and get started. I don't really like talking about myself personally, so we'll just get right past that slide. And let's talk about the city that your students will hopefully be spending 3 weeks at this summer. So Milwaukee, Wisconsin is, like Eric, it's where I'm from and where I currently live, or at least circa that area. And yeah, so it's interestingly, and I'm just going to ask, I think somebody's needs to get muted. No, I think we're good. So Wisconsin is actually known as America's dairy land, but you wouldn't necessarily know that by looking at Milwaukee specifically. Milwaukee has a population of around 600,000 people. And the majority of the state, though, is actually not like that. It's actually quite rural. So as your students are flying in on their airplanes, they might be looking down and actually seeing quite a lot of patches of rural farmland. So that's something that they can keep a lookout for. And when they arrive at the airport, we're going to happily greet them with a warm hello. We'll bring them to our dormitories and we'll give them an orientation where they'll be welcomed into our WSCO community here. And we're just really excited for the opportunity to serve your students in this way. So let's get talking about the English immersion aspect of it. Now, most of our teachers are English, for all of our teachers, English is their native language. And for most of our teachers, if they do know a second language, a lot of our teachers actually are more familiar with Spanish really than any other language. And I'm pretty sure right now we don't actually have a lot of students coming from primarily Spanish-speaking countries. Their teachers, it's going to have to be in English. And same for their WSCO friends. The WSCO friends are going to be only communicating with them in English. So we're really looking to take our learners' experience one step above a textbook learning. It's not just vocabulary words and doing conversational exercises, writing a few paragraphs. By putting them in this immersive English environment, we're really forcing them very quickly, shoving them right into the deep end of the pool, you might say, to have to speak the language right away. And especially and reserved naturally. Perhaps they are a little bit more hesitant and afraid to make mistakes. That's actually the perfect situation to put them into. It helps them learn to speak English more naturally, more fluently. When they're speaking with native speakers like their teachers and their Wisco friends, they're able to hear some idioms and slangs, and they'll pick these things up while they're conversing that you just aren't going to be able to get from a simple textbook. So that's one of the huge benefits that we see to them being completely immersed in this English language environment that we have set up for them here. Here you'll see our schedule that we have for your students. The focus in the mornings is primarily on the academic courses. After lunch, we have a debriefing session where the students kind of gather together and we prepare them for their afternoon experiential field trip. So for example, if we have our history focused week, they might learn during that time in the morning in their academic subject, they might learn about how immigrants to Wisconsin lived in the 1800s. Then in the afternoon, they might take a trip to the Old World Wisconsin Museum in Eagle, Wisconsin, which is just a short bus trip away from Wisconsin Lutheran High School. And Old World Wisconsin is an outdoor museum that depicts the housing and the daily life of settlers in 19th century Wisconsin. And there's separate areas for different ethnic groups who settled in the state. And there the students are going to really experience not just the academic portion in the classroom, but they'll get to actually see some portions of what they talked about in the classroom out and about on their experiential field trip, which is pretty cool that they get to see both aspects of it. And then when they return from that experiential field trip, the students will have dinner, and then they'll have some personal time, some study time, make some phone calls home, have a nap. I know that was one thing we learned from our first year. Our students really like to take naps. They get tired, so we do want to make sure they have enough time to rest as well. And then in the evening, we have some fun English skill practice with our recreational activities. So maybe it'll be board games, maybe it will be playing some basketball, maybe it'll be a skit night. There's lots of different activities that we have planned on our facilities, but that'll be kind of how they spend the evenings. This is just a general structure of their Monday to Friday. The weekends tend to get a little bit different because the weekends are not so academically focused. We're out and about visiting different cities and just exploring the area. So those schedules will be very different depending on where we're going and what we're doing on those days. Now, as fun as the games and the field trips are, we never want to lose sight of the reason why our students are here, which is, of course, to grow in their academic English knowledge, which is why we offer really strong courses in reading, writing, speaking, listening, and then our content subject courses. The majority of the students that we have coming to Wisconsin Lutheran College, either for one of these shorter immersion experiences or for our full year program, have some pretty lofty goals. They want to go to an American or English speaking country university. Maybe they want to work in a country abroad where English is primarily spoken, or just live in a country like that one day. So it's really crucial that we take the academic portion of their learning seriously. So there are the three courses that we offer primarily are right here. We have reading, writing, grammar kind of combined into one course. We also thirdly have a special content subject course. The curriculums we've chosen for our reading courses are American school curriculums, and that means that the students are using in our courses what actual American students are using in their classes as well. They're very skill focused, so really it should, in an ideal world, help our students to be really successful on standardized tests, which do focus primarily on skills. So that's something we're really focusing on in those courses as well. For our writing class, we pair it with our reading curriculum, and it's all done within the same class time period. So that's a really academic approach towards it. The idea that not only are they reading something and writing something, but they're writing about what they're reading. And we try to connect it to different disciplines or genres of writing. So we want to have different kinds. We want to have opinion writing. We want to have argumentative writing. We want to have informational writing. And it's a lot to try to pack into 3 weeks, but we try to give them at least a small exposure to all the different kinds of writing they're likely to encounter in an American classroom. And the next one we have is our speaking and listening courses. So the speaking curriculum for our lower levels is an English as a second language curriculum. So that's really meant to focus on building those foundational skills so that they can have those fluent and productive conversations with people in English. And then the upper level students have more of what I would call like a high school public speaking skills type course. So it's more what you would find in a traditional American high school speaking class. Less focused on patterns and vocabulary that they're going to need, and more focused on approach and style and the way that they speak in front of others. And again, that's just the difference between our upper level and our lower level students for that. And then finally, we also have special content subjects. Now, these rotate on a weekly basis, and they're taught by teachers with special training or credentials in that area. So, for example, in the past for our Fine Arts Week, Wisconsin Lutheran High School's art teacher led that, and he did drawing and painting and sculpting with the students in the classroom. And then he also went on our field trip with us to the Milwaukee Botanical Gardens, and he did some sketching with them of the flowers and the things that he saw in the gardens there. And that was a really cool that we were able to bridge those things together as well, again trying to connect our classroom experience with the experiential field trips as much as possible. We also offer a history focus as well as a STEM focus. And you probably know this, but just in case, STEM stands for science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So a pretty broad range of what that could include, and it really does depend on the specialization of the teacher who does it. So if the teacher is particularly talented in robotics, it might be more robotics focused. If the teacher's more into computer science or physical science, it really does just depend on that teacher's passion and specialty. So either way, we can promise that it'll be something that the teacher's excited about. So hopefully the students will be excited about that content as well. And continuing on, one crucial difference between our program and other programs out there is our WCC Friends Program. So we have a group of wonderful students from our school who volunteer to do this with our international students in the summertime. And they build these relationships with them that at this point now, some of them have lasted for several years. One of our students was saying how she still keeps in touch with her friend from 2 years ago on Instagram. They chat back and forth all the time. So whether it's via Instagram or email, we love the idea of the students carrying that relationship beyond just the time that they spent together here at WCC. But even if they just focus on their time here, it's a really great opportunity for them to spend some time with a peer, a student who's maybe the same age as them or 1 or 2 years older or younger than them. And again, it's going to be completely in English, and they can share their cultures with each other. And frankly, it's not just a great opportunity for the international students, it's a really great opportunity for our WCC students as well. They might never get an opportunity to meet somebody from Vietnam until your student comes and teaches them about that culture. So these students are excited about learning about other cultures, maybe learning their language, and it helps to broaden their worldview as well. And so it's a mutually beneficial experience, and it's really cool to see their relationships blossom through the 3 weeks that they have together. And so mostly they'll be spending the afternoons with their WCC friends, though some of the WCC friends do attend the weekend field trips with us and the evening activities if it's appropriate as well. So here you will find our afternoon and weekend activity schedule, which due to COVID-19, of course, is subject to change. And I would just encourage you to look at it more closely and come to us if you have any questions about the experiences listed. I will highlight a few of the ones that are on here. So for example, here's a closer look at some Milwaukee experiences. So Miller Park, which you can see down in the corner over here, Miller smaller park is a baseball stadium in Milwaukee. It's home to the Milwaukee Brewers baseball team. Always a great fun, and if it's a nice day, we get the roof open and lots of sunshine coming in, so that's a fun thing to do with the students. The Milwaukee Public Market, which is the second one here, that's a large building primarily filled with freshly prepared food vendors, but there's also flowers and gifts and apparel, things that you can buy. It's also on our streetcar line, which is called the Hop. So if that's running, the students will be able to drive our brand new streetcar as well. It's only a few years old. Students also love shopping at our large indoor mall called Mayfair. It has nearly 200 stores, a movie theater, a great food court, and I mean, who doesn't love shopping? So the students always really enjoy that field trip. The Pfizer Forum is home to the Milwaukee Bucks NBA baseball team. We actually just signed another contract with our MVP player, Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's one of the best players in the NBA and also very expensive, we found out as well. And while there won't be any games on while the students are here, it's out of season, it's still a really amazing stadium to tour. So the students will have a great time just viewing the stadium, even if they can't actually watch a game at this particular time. Also, we'll be going to a few museums. Milwaukee is the home of Harley-Davidson motorcycles. The Discovery World is a very science museum, lots of hands-on, interesting things for them to explore and do there. The Milwaukee Art Museum is not only fantastic for the artwork that's inside, but the building itself is an architectural piece as well that the students will enjoy. Just even being inside the building is a really cool experience as well. Chicago is the third most populous city in the US, and it's just a few hours south of Milwaukee. We'll spend a whole day there sightseeing, trying some famous food. That's always a fun time as well. Madison is our state capital, which is the seat of Wisconsin's government. It's where we'll tour the University of Wisconsin-Madison, which is one of the top universities in the US. And I think we might need somebody muted, Eric. So if you just want to be ready to hit the mute button there, thanks. And it is another stunning piece of architecture is our Capitol building. So again, if that tour and see the amazing works of art and again just the architectural structure of it, even if you have no interest in government, which I'll be honest is not the most interesting topic to me, but I do like looking at how pretty the building is. And the next one is our Six Flags amusement park, which is not too far from Milwaukee. We can have lots of fun and excitement here on some roller coasters. If you have a student who doesn't like roller coasters, that's fine. There's still plenty of stuff to do there that doesn't involve almost dying or feeling like you're almost dying. The fun continues in Wisconsin Dells, where there's a water park, as well as lots of water-based shows and boat tours and things like that we can do. It's also another beautiful place for landscape. There's really beautiful rock formations there as well. And as I mentioned earlier, those evening activities really add a lot of extra fun to the students' experiences. And they're more meant to be more a chance for them to both have fun and socialize as well. So it's really more about spending time with each other in a fun way, whereas the experiences are really more about getting them out there and seeing things. This is more about spending time together and having some fun. Finally, the dorm rooms. To say that our dorm rooms are fabulous is an understatement. If I had these when I was in, well, I didn't go to a boarding high school, but if I had these when I went to university, I would probably never want to leave. They're really nice. The students will have a fantastic time here. Like I said, they're brand new. And it sounds like Eric has some more to say about them. So Eric, if there's anything else you want to say about those dorm rooms, go right ahead.
Actually, I'm going to invite Tammy to talk a little bit more detail of how the dorm is set up and what are some of the, how convenient it is for the students to be right on campus.
Right. So our new dormitory was built in 2019. And as Allison said, it is a fabulous dormitory. It is equal and better than many college dormitories in the US. So it's very close to our school. It's on our campus. Students only have to walk about 1 minute outside. Of course, this is when summer camp comes, it's summertime. So it's beautiful in Wisconsin in the summertime. Not too hot, not too cold. It's absolutely beautiful. The dormitory is a very safe environment. First of all, we're in a safe community, and we're in a traditional American suburban type community where families live and children play outside. The dormitory is got cameras and very secure locking system. We have trained supervisor teachers that live in the dormitory with the students. Every floor has one adult teacher who lives there in their apartment. And we also have a beautiful park right across the street from the dormitory. Students can walk over to the park and they can play basketball, they can play tennis. It's right across the street. So it really is the most fabulous place to stay in Wisconsin, I think. And you can see the pictures of the interior of the dormitory here, the clean and modern architecture that we use to make it be an open space and a healthy space. We have a kitchen there that you can see, and students can, with the teachers, they will cook food and have a good time in that kitchen. Right now they're doing some baking of Christmas cookies. There's lounges, beautiful lounges where students can sit around and socialize. You see the bedroom there. Each bedroom has 2 beds, so 2 students live in a bedroom, but in that middle bottom picture, you see the unit has 3 bedrooms, so there are 6 students living in 1 unit, and there are 2 large, beautiful bathrooms. So really only 3 students that share one bathroom. We promised we would talk to you about what about the worldwide pandemic? What about COVID? Currently in our school building, we are having face-to-face classes, even when COVID is pretty serious in the United States, as we all know. We are able to do this in our school building safely because we follow all of the protocols, such as mask wearing and social distance. And we've also installed air purification system in the school building. Last summer, they installed this, and it basically kills all germs within 30 minutes. And so that really reduces the spread of the virus. And we are able to have students face-to-face teaching in this environment. And that's really best for students. As long as we keep them safe, we can still have that face-to-face teaching. For summer program, we are various predictions in the US. Possibly many people will be vaxxed out, that it's taking longer to be safe, than we will reevaluate in the springtime. And obviously we'll communicate with you. Last summer, we were able to have a virtual summer camp. When we found out we can't do summer camp live face-to-face last summer, we quickly changed to a virtual platform. And actually, that was really successful. We shortened it to 1 week because it's hard sometimes to be on your computer for 3 weeks. So students had 1 week of classes with Miss Allison, who you just saw, and other excellent teachers. They were able, one of the highlights, I think, was that not only did they have great classes online, but then they were able to each day have an American friend, just similar to our camp WISCO friends that Allison talked about earlier. The students had an American friend that they would speak with one-on-one virtually for half an hour, and our teachers trained our American students to keep the conversation going so that there was real quality communication between the native speaking American student and the international student. So it was a huge success, and we will evaluate again in the spring, as I said, of 2021. Hopefully we will be able to do our camp normally, but we always have this really wonderful virtual option when we need to access it. To apply to our summer camp, we ask that You submit an online application, and we would like that deadline to be April 15. And at that time, we ask for a $500 deposit. We will then issue you a letter of invitation so that you can get a visa to come to the USA. We ask then that you continue with your registration with us and have that finished by May 15. There's some other forms and things we will communicate with you at that time. And finally, before June 15, please pay the entire amount in full. We are always here to help you. I think our team here, me and Eric and Allison, we are really wonderful at customer service. We want you to be able to get the answers you need as quickly as possible. So usually when you contact us within 24 hours, usually you'll get a response, sometimes maybe 48 hours, or maybe we'll respond and say, we're checking on that. So please, please have good communication with us and email us, and we can set up more Zoom meetings if you need more Zoom meetings to feel more confident about our summer program. We are happy to do that also. If you have questions, we are opening up our mic right now, so to speak, for any questions you might have. And I know that some people would rather write questions in the chat box. So I'm going to watch the chat box for any questions, and then I will let Eric answer some of them, and he will close out our time together also.
I see Andresa from GX Road. I want to go. Well, yeah, we hope that you can come, Andresa. We would love you and your students from Braganza Paulista to be able to come. And we know you had a great group planned, ready to go for 2020, and we're looking forward to your 2021 group as well. I think it's great. We've got people on the call today from Brazil, from China, from Japan, from Vietnam. Where am I missing? From South Korea. So we're really planning to have a great diverse group, and that's one of the benefits too of our program. We have students coming from many different countries. So your students from Brazil, for example, get to not only meet students from USA and have interactions with them, but they get to meet students from all over the world, and same from other countries too. Ellie, I did get a question here about English levels and how let's say a student is a true beginner, or a beginner, or and then they're coming with a friend who's more advanced. How do the English placements work?
Mm-hmm. So in regards to their placement, or in regards to if they come with a friend?
More about the English classes and the levels that we offer.
Yeah. So they are not placed by friendship in their academic classes. On the field trips, they can spend time with their friends, they can eat lunch with their friends, those types of things. The academic classes are based off a test that we give them, basically. We use a test by Pearson. It is a computerized test. On the first day they take it, and it gives us a summary of their level. It's about a 30-minute test, and it gives us a pretty good gauge of their level. Certainly there's, if we had a longer chunk of time, we could probably do more stringent testing that would give us a full breakdown, but it was pretty sufficient for us. And then we also based it off of student performance. So within the first week, there were several students that clearly were capable of handling, for example, a harder level just based off their work ethic and things. So they were bumped up to a higher level because they just wanted more of a challenge. And then there were some students who were maybe feeling a little bit overwhelmed in the level that they were placed in. So we moved them to a lower level. So there is flexibility to move them within the levels as is appropriate. And so we just give them a test basically on the first day that they arrive, and based on that test is where we place them.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. And we should say too that upon the completion of the camp, every student will receive a certificate too that that shows that they've completed our camp and the level that they completed it at as well. Question about chaperones. Maybe Tammy, would you like to answer that? What are the plans to do we welcome chaperones to the program, and how do we work with chaperones?
Yes, we would like a group from specific places. If it's a group of students, to have a chaperone. It's very good for the students, because some of them are younger, to have someone they're familiar with from their own country. So we offer free camp lodging and food and all the afternoon activity tickets, etc. We offer free camp to the chaperones. So if you have at least 6 students, 6 to 10 students, we offer that free chaperone for the students, and the chaperones also will live in the dormitory with their students. They'll have their own room, but they'll be able to kind of help the students maybe in the evening when they need reminders to maybe take a shower or kind of keep an eye on the students. We have our staff, of course, that does that also, but it's better to have, because of the age of the students, it's better to have a chaperone from their own country. So we encourage that. You would just communicate with us what your group is, and we would talk to you about that when you apply.
All right, thank you, Tammy, for that. Any other questions that you've received, Allie or Tammy?
I don't have any in the chat box here, so we must have answered a lot of questions along the way.
And we're sure as you think through it tonight, tomorrow, more questions will come to mind. And you know how to reach us. You can reach us at international.camp@wlhs.org. So you're going to hear some music in the background.
I have one question. Can junior students join the camp like 7 to 12 years old? Our camp is usually for 11-year-olds to 17-year-olds. If you have someone close to 11 years old, we will discuss it with you at the time, whether they would be able to handle the socialization and the classes. So, but generally it's 11 years old to 17 years old.
It's perfect timing. The music is wrapping us up here. This is the school announcements, and this is a school spirit week, everything about celebrating Christmas. Monday we had a dress up day. What was it? Monday you could wear your Christmas pajamas to school. Wednesday was, what was it yesterday?
Christmas in July.
Christmas in July. I was wearing my Hawaiian shirt, and then tomorrow is ugly sweater or ugly mask day. So that's a thing here. So, well, I think this music is a good reminder for us that we try to keep to our promise, keep about a half-hour program with questions to follow. And thank you again, everyone, for joining us today. We're really pleased of all the interest, and we wish you guys all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and we look forward to seeing you here in July of 2021 at our summer camp. So we'll sign off for now, and I'll stop the recording, and we'll send it, if you've registered, I'll send it to you afterwards. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.